Hey, what is up, everybody? Kind of wanted to come on here and just make a little bit of an update video. So, I'm starting to go through like a weird phase in my collecting journey. I can't put my finger on it, but I'm going to tell you what I think it is. So, recently, like the last 2 months or so, I've started to get a little burned out with some of the things that I collect. Now, mind you, I will never, ever stop collecting action figures. It's something I genuinely love and everything like that. So, the way I'm kind of feeling right now is just a little burnt out from a lot of lines that I collect, when it's just pre-order after pre-order after pre-order after going on Instagram and seeing, oh, here's a surprise unannounced set of figures, platinum edition, chases, so on and so forth. It just gets to be a little overwhelming, and I just needed to kind of like come on here and talk about it because it's bothering me and it's making me a little upset, depressed in a way. It's a weird feeling. So as you guys know, well, maybe you don't, for those of you who have followed me on TikTok for many, many, many years, you will know that I used to primarily just like solely post videos at one point for a good chunk of time, just Star Wars stuff. And then for a very long period of time, it was just McFarlane and DC multiverse stuff. I love DC. I love Star Wars. I love Spawn, all that stuff. But I think I'm coming to a point where I don't want to say I'm over it, but it's just like when your bank account starts dropping way more because, oh, pre-order has arrived, so on and so forth, you get a little bit of wallet fatigue. So I'm going to title this video and call it Collector's Fatigue. I'm having collector's fatigue. It's troublesome because it's just, you have to kind of like go through it and realize, like, man, I don't need this, and this just because it exists. I didn't even know it existed 24 hours ago. Why do I need it that bad? Why do I need 7 Batmobiles? Why do I need, 47 Superman action figures? It's just one of them things where I genuinely like all this stuff. It's not like I'm losing interest, but I'm overwhelmed by the hobby. And with me recently getting back into wrestling collecting after taking a break for a while, it made me realize, like, man, I like all this stuff, but the thing that genuinely brings me the most happiness as far as collecting goes is wrestling, WWE figures, and then of course my love for The Simpsons. Like, I don't think that'll ever go away either. So those two things, and definitely for like the last 20 years of my life at least, have been like my number one interest. The DC stuff and Star Wars and all that stuff, as far as collecting goes, came into my life in the last 5 years or so, and it's taken over. Earlier this year, at the end of last year, December of last year, I counted my DC figures and it was like 700. And it just, at the time I was like, wow, that's impressive, that's cool. But now I'm thinking like, oh boy, that's a problem, especially when you collect all the wrestling stuff and the Star Wars stuff, and just, it's sending my brain into just like a mass mush. So that being said, I think that I've made the decision that I'm going to sell off most of my collection. Most of my DC stuff. I also collect Jurassic Park, which is my favorite movie ever, franchise ever. But I don't have space and or time to be collecting dinosaurs, Batman stuff. Like, I love them, and I'm gonna keep keep in mind that I'm going to keep, you know, the things that I like the most, like the pieces that I obtained that I was like, man, this feels good to have. I still genuinely have it displayed and love looking at it every day. But it's just gotten to a point where I don't even like coming into my toy room because it's just disgustingly overwhelming. And it just sends me into a fit in my head, and I just can't do it no more. I can't do the wake up every day and jump on Big Bad Toy Store or McFarlane Toys or what have you and try to get on the newest pre-order. It's just absolutely overwhelming. Cannot do it anymore. So on top of the tubs and totes of figures that I have in my closet, I have stuff on shelves, stuff still in box that I'm just like looking at it and I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need that. And the other thing too is I think getting married changed my brain a little bit, in the sense that, man, I'm 32, I'm married, and I have a room in a tiny apartment full of toys that I'm embarrassed to even go in because it's a mess all the time because of all the stuff that I collect. It's just out of hand, and I feel like I have like ropes around my arms and my legs pulling me in every direction and just really weighing me down. It's weighing me down and it's just too much, and I need to take a step back from certain hobbies, or certain lines of toys, or just get out of it completely. I've planned on keeping my wrestling figure collection and keep buying those, but I've already in the last couple months been like really picky and choosy about characters or wrestlers or whatever that I want to collect. Same with other, you know, basically everything else that I've been collecting. And now me and my wife are getting into card collecting, wrestling card collecting, and that's its own thing, which doesn't take up a lot of space, or so I think right now. So that's kind of where my brain is at. So I plan on in the next couple weeks going through my room and bagging up stuff, pricing stuff out, and maybe trying to get a table at my local toy swap or swap meet or whatever you want to call it, and pricing to sell while also not like giving him away, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where, you know, I just gotten to the point in my life where I just feel like I'm setting myself back way too much, financially, and like as far as room goes, like I want to have a house, and if I keep buying 7 lines of figures and completing all these collections, then it's never gonna happen. So I really need to think about stuff like that, and I've made the decision that yeah, I'll be selling off quite a bit of stuff. Gonna keep like a lot of the stuff, like I said, things that I really enjoy looking at, like my Keaton Batman and Batman 6-pack, and like, but I'm be very limited about it, and especially like going forward with doing McFarlane or DC or anything like that, I'm setting like heavy rules. Like, I don't know, I haven't thought of anything. Like, for example, like only Silver Age multiverse figures, that's it. Or movie figures, that's it, if I actually even like the movie. So on and so forth. So that's where my head is at. If you haven't noticed, yeah, I haven't posted a DC video in months and months and months, and that's why. It just, when you get to the point where you have like 800 figures of the same line, it's time to really think about stuff. And like, I'm not even like that deeply knowledged in DC stuff to where I need to buy every superhero that exists. I had the same thing with Star Wars stuff, I had the same thing with Marvel, Jurassic Park. It just, the list goes on. So not getting out of the hobby, not, no way in hell would I ever stop collecting toys. But going forward, this channel will primarily and pretty much solely be WWE figures, AEW figures, every so often. I don't dabble too much, but Simpsons stuff, you know, like the old Simpsons stuff and the Jack stuff now, and wrestling cards, and that's where my head's at, and that's where I'm gonna be. Is, you know, last 20 years of my life, wrestling has been the thing. So I think I'm just gonna stick with what I know and just set heavy rules for myself. And you know, it's easy to relate to and collect wrestling when I work in wrestling, and you know, it's just a huge, massive part of my life. So I might as well just make it the thing and stop worrying about buying every freaking line of toys. It's just, I'm done with it. Took me like 5 years, 6 years to realize that, but it's a heavy weight off my shoulders. And once I get my stuff packed up and sold, and I actually have room to breathe in this room and be able to start saving for a house and whatnot, I think I'll feel a lot better too. So collectors fatigue is real. Wallet fatigue is real. If I had any advice to give anybody who's new to collecting or wants to get into collecting, just be careful, because you don't need everything. You don't need to collect every line. Collect what you truly enjoy, and stuff that's not going to break your bank. That's the most important thing. I went a little overboard, you know, after bills were paid. All money went to figures, and that's just, it's got to stop. I got to be careful with my stuff. So yeah, if you're a new collector, just, yeah, really be careful and just collect what you want, but don't go crazy, because you'll end up like me. Live and learn, though. It's a lesson learned, and I had fun with it. I had fun with the Batman stuff and all that stuff for a very long time. Still love Batman, and to keep quite a few Batman and stuff like that, but a lot of like the weird alternative characters, they gotta get cut. Making big cuts be good for me financially, mentally especially. So anyway, this is my long rant. Appreciate you watching. Like and subscribe, follow me, whatever you're watching this on, and I'll see you all later in the next wrestling figure or Simpsons video. Peace out.